the next prophet of God, actually, who was to succeed
Yes, I'll explain your question.
Yes.
I'll give the answer to this question. First of all, in principle and fundamentally, because once that part is solved, then perhaps the second question will become unnecessary.
Yes.
You see, what is religion itself and how religion is revealed and why, and what is the relationship of the whole of creation to God, the Creator. And did He create human beings so that He could choose some to be made special ones for showing light and reject others who grope their way in the darkness as best as they can? Or it should be a different type of scheme of things? So when you look at the Ahmadiyya point of view, everything falls in step, and like a jigsaw puzzle, pieces just fit together in mutual relationship, with the result that a very different concept of religion emerges from the one which has been taught to you from your childhood. Number one, we fully agree with the Christian claim that Jesus Christ was light and way, because every prophet in his time is the light and the way. You can't teach God without going through the door of a prophet, as I explained during one of his questions.
Yes.
You see?
Yeah.
He is the reference point.
That's right.
So every prophet has to be. Otherwise there is no significance of prophethood. Secondly, we believe, as the Holy Quran tells us, that Allah has created all human beings and He has been sending prophets, that is light, to everyone. And Deen, according to the Holy Quran, is the way. And every prophet was given a Deen and a light. So according to the Holy Quran, there is no distinction in this regard. Unfortunately, people of the latter days, not latter days, but people who followed later on Jesus Christ, peace be upon Him, started emphasizing on this in a different way, giving it a different interpretation for which it was originally used. According to our theory, it does not stand in contradiction with the claims of the rest of the prophets at all. It is in complete harmony, that claim, with the claims of every prophet, or with the objectives of every prophet, we should say. Because some prophets are known to have made bigger claim than this. Because people, when they distorted their religions later on, they began to attribute things to their prophets, with the result that Krishna makes a much bigger claim, and so many other prophets who have been turned into gods themselves, not sons of God but gods, they have made very tall claims. So you should not judge by claims, because you are so far removed in time from that prophet that it is really very difficult to visualize what actually he said and what actually he meant and what actually he did. First of all, rectify your vision. Don't look at things through a colored eyeglass. First of all, adopt a universal approach to problems. Then, through that principal approach, you can reach any corner of the earth, and your decision will be as much right as it is possible for human beings to reach a right decision. So in this respect, I lay much more stress upon this fundamental question, whether Ahmadiyya philosophy is correct or any other philosophy opposed to this philosophy is correct. And for this, reference can only be given to your own conscience. You will know immediately whether you agree with me or my philosophy or with some other philosophy. Then it would be easier for us to reach conclusions. So Ahmadiyya claim, which of course is based on the Holy Quran, is this, that Allah has never abandoned any people on earth. There is not a single people to whom He did not give light, for whom He did not prescribe the way. He did not abandon or desert any region of the earth. Even that is used in the Holy Quran, the word, where Allah did not send His warners to lead them to the right path. And no ummah, that is, no people in any time, were entirely abandoned by God. So if that claim is correct, we don't find this claim of the Holy Bible, New Testament, to be in contradiction with this claim at all. It fits in as a piece, not as a whole. But look at it as a whole, then the whole concept of Allah, God, and the purpose of His creation is totally falsified. A very distorted vision appears before your eyes. Many questions begin to rise, for which your conscience cannot give a satisfactory answer. For instance, if Jesus Christ was the light and the way, without whom God could not be reached, then what a long age history of human beings, much larger than we observe after Him, is widely open before you. And there we see the prophethood, phenomena of prophethood, or according to Hinduism, a phenomena of godhood, and according to Confucius, a phenomena of wisdom, and according to Buddha, a phenomena of perfect wisdom which you find within you. The only difference between the concept of wisdom of Buddha and Confucius is this, that Confucius it believes in an objective wisdom. The whole of his philosophy is the study and the accurate study of things and reaching the conclusions. The wisdom of Buddha, on the other hand, is a wisdom which you find sinking deep into yourself. And you don't require anything else. Just delve deep into your own nature and forget the whole universe until you have totally lost consciousness of what exists around you. So all this, what is this? It becomes meaningless. If that philosophy is true, the people before become meaningless, the people existing in India and China and other places all lose their meaning, and the whole concept of God loses its meaning. So, without giving reference to your own conscience, if you begin to follow the texts, you will be seeing the text through the colored eye views of your predecessors, those who had their own limited visions, and they have started imposing that vision upon the Bible and upon you, with the result that the moment you see the light of day, that light begins to appear dark, which claims itself to be the light, because the act of God throws a different light, and the claim of light is completely different in color and hue, and they stand in contradiction to each other. That should not be so. So first rectify your vision of the universe and its existence and its significance, and what should be God's attitude to His people. Why should He choose only the Palestinians? And a very small lineage line of those who in history are most often found insignificant and meaningless, looking at it from the secular history. And the rest of the entire world of China, the kingdom of Empire of China and Empire of Eastern Empire of Iran, which was